George Russell's Mercedes ground to a halt on lap 30 of the Canadian Grand Prix while leading the race. A complete battery failure robbed him of what could have been his second victory of the season, handing teammate Kimi Antonelli a fourth consecutive win and opening up a massive 43-point championship gap between the two Silver Arrows drivers. Before Russell's retirement, we witnessed one of the most intense teammate battles in recent Formula One history. For 31 laps, Russell and Antonelli traded positions at the front, coming dangerously close to contact multiple times. Russell started from pole position, but it was Antonelli who showed he wasn't backing down from his more experienced teammate. On lap 6, Russell overtook Antonelli going into the final chicane, and Antonelli nearly crashed into the back of him. We are talking inches separating these two Mercedes cars from a race-ending collision. The intensity didn't stop there. They kept swapping positions, with Antonelli taking the lead on lap 22, only for Russell to reclaim it 2 laps later after the pair made minor contact at the final chicane. Antonelli actually cut the corner and was instructed by the team to give the position back, which he did. Mercedes team radio became increasingly tense. The pit wall sent out a clear message. "We've got to tidy up this racing. We need to keep it clean. If we can't keep it tidy, then we'll have to stop you racing." That's how close these two were to being ordered to hold position. The team was watching two potential race winners pushing each other to the absolute limit, and they were getting nervous about losing both cars. Lap 30. Russell was leading, managing the gap to Antonelli behind him, looking completely in control. Then, without any warning, everything shut down. The engine stopped. No electronics. No braking assistance. Russell's Mercedes lost all electrical power instantly. What's called a complete battery failure. Russell described it himself. Everything just turned off all of a sudden. "I went into the corner. The engine stopped. No electronics. No proper braking." Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff later confirmed the technical issue. "It looks like a battery failure. The car was literally going dark. There was no electricity in the car anymore. There were no warning signs on the telemetry, no degradation indicators, no temperature spikes, nothing that Russell or the team could have predicted or prevented." One moment he's fighting for victory, the next his car is rolling to a stop at turn 8. Russell drove to the side of the track safely before coming to a complete halt. But his race, and potentially his championship bid, was over. The frustration was visible. Russell threw his headrest out of the car, then banged on the bodywork with his fists before climbing out to watch his vehicle being recovered. This retirement ended a 38-race finishing streak for Russell, his first DNF since the British Grand Prix back in 2024. Standing trackside after the retirement, Russell didn't hide his devastation. "Disbelief," he said when asked how he felt. "It feels like somebody doesn't want me to fight or compete for this championship. 3 out of the last 5 races, there's just been something really going against us. I'm just a bit lost for words right now." That statement speaks volumes about Russell's mental state. He'd dominated the entire weekend. Pole position for the sprint, won the sprint, pole position for the Grand Prix. He'd answered critics after a difficult Miami weekend where questions had been raised about his performance. Russell himself said, "There were a lot of doubters, maybe after Miami and a lot of chat, but I know what I can do." He proved exactly what he could do. The pace was there. The racecraft was there. The determination was there. But none of it mattered when the car simply stopped working. Russell acknowledged he loved the battle with Antonelli. "I would have loved to see how it would have panned out, but here we are." The championship mathematics are brutal. Russell scored 0 points. Antonelli won and took 25. That's a 25-point swing in a single afternoon. The gap between them is now 43 points after just 5 races. Antonelli leads with 131 points. Russell sits second with 88 points. For context, that's nearly 2 race victories worth of points separating them. And we haven't even reached the European leg of the season yet. While Russell's weekend ended in heartbreak, Kimi Antonelli became the first driver in Formula One history to win his first 4 Grand Prix victories in consecutive races. After Russell won the season opener in Australia, Antonelli has reeled off 4 straight wins: China, Japan, Miami, and now Canada. At just 19 years old, the Italian is making a statement that he's not just fast, he's consistent, and he's capitalizing on every opportunity. Antonelli acknowledged the battle after the race. "It was a really fun battle, to be fair with George. We were pretty much on the limit and it was not easy today with the wind. Very gusty. Turn 10 was very difficult. I think one lap he locked up, and then I went in front and locked up. It was very close, and it was a shame for him to have the failure because it would have been a very cool battle, but, I mean, we take it. The virtual safety car was deployed when Russell stopped, and most of the field pitted for their only stop of the race. Antonelli emerged with a 4.6-second lead over second-placed Max Verstappen and controlled the race from there. Lewis Hamilton made a brilliant late move on Verstappen to take second place for his best result with Ferrari so far, while Verstappen secured his first podium of 2026 in third. This result creates a fascinating dynamic inside Mercedes. They have the fastest car on the grid right now, they have both drivers capable of winning races, but they also have a reliability issue that couldn't have come at a worse time for Russell. Mercedes now has to manage two extremely fast, extremely competitive teammates who are willing to race each other hard. Perhaps too hard at times. Toto Wolff admitted watching the battle was uncomfortable. Every time we thought about saying, "We've had enough for the moment," the next two laps were fast again. As long as we maintained that gap, it was okay watching it, but it can obviously go wrong. The team is walking a tightrope. They want their drivers to race, they want the spectacle, but one wrong move and they lose both cars. Russell now faces a significant challenge. A 43-point deficit after 5 races is recoverable. There are still 17 races remaining, but he needs to outscore Antonelli consistently, and he needs his car to actually finish races. The psychological impact of losing 25 points through no fault of his own on a weekend where he'd proven he had the pace to win cannot be underestimated. Russell himself admitted after the race, "Right now, it's Antonelli's to lose." That's a telling statement from someone who had just dominated an entire race weekend until lap 30. The 2026 Canadian Grand Prix will be remembered for the intense Mercedes battle, but also for how cruelly it ended for George Russell. He did everything right, dominated qualifying, managed the race beautifully, defended when needed, and attacked when the opportunity arose. But Formula One doesn't care about what should have been. The car stopped, the points went to his teammate, and the championship gap widened significantly. Antonelli now carries a commanding lead into Monaco, the next round of the championship. Russell heads there knowing he has the speed to fight back, but also knowing that reliability is now a question mark hanging over his season. Mercedes has the fastest package, but they need both cars to finish if they want to win both championships. Russell proved in Canada that the doubters were wrong about his speed and racecraft. What he needs now is luck to turn back in his favor and a car that can go the distance. Because right now, Kimi Antonelli looks like a driver who won't give up this championship lead easily.